Well, good evening, everyone. We're going to get started. I'm calling to order the meeting for the code enforcement hearings before the City of Deltona Special Magistrate. First thing on our agenda is a roll call. This is to just identify the public officials that are here this evening, including myself as Special Magistrate, as well as the code enforcement officers and the code enforcement clerk. So I'll start out. My name is William Reichman. I am an attorney. I've been an attorney for almost 40 years now. I represent a bunch of cities and been doing this for a long time. And I've been appointed for several years now by the City Commission of the City of Deltona to act in the capacity as Special Magistrate to hear the city's allegations that various codes have been violated and to find out whether that is indeed the case or not. And then to make appropriate rulings based upon the facts that I hear at these hearings, including these this evening. So next, we're just going to go around and everyone's going to introduce themselves so that everyone knows who's here.
Angela Meyer, hearing clerk.
Danny Ron, the customer service supervisor.
Richard Levin, enforcement services supervisor.
Gladys Mercedline, legal assistant.
Mark Gibson, enforcement services supervisor.
Jeff Scott, code compliance officer. Myron San Miguel, code enforcement officer.
What is this?
Scott Neely, code enforcement compliance officer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Marion Laracy, code enforcement officer.
Ron Paradise, Planning and Development Services, City of Deltona.
Marcia Siegel George, city attorney.
John Bowden, building official.
Okay, everybody signed in? Good. If everyone could stand, we're going to pledge allegiance to the flag now, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. So these hearings before me, the Special Magistrate, have been organized and established pursuant to the laws of the state of Florida. Specifically, there's a chapter in one of the statutes, it's Chapter 162, which sets forth code enforcement process. Those procedures have been codified into the City of Deltona's code. So we follow that. This is not something we make up. This is something that's set forth and we follow pursuant to Florida law. It's done by all local governments in the state of Florida. The hearings this evening are in the nature of what we call quasi-judicial. So it's not a full-blown trial, but it's a little bit better than Judge Judy. So I'd say it's somewhere in between there. And what it means is everyone gets due process. You receive notice of tonight's meeting, and we're going to make sure that, and I'm going to make sure that I hear from the city, and I hear from those of you that want to tell me about the cases that the cities are bringing. You know, we're going to, in a second, we're going to swear everyone in. But the main thing to understand is that I haven't talked to anybody about these cases. I haven't talked to any witnesses. I mean, I think there's a case that's coming back, so I've heard on that case. But any of the new cases, I haven't talked to anybody at the city. So I'm going to make my decision based on what I hear this evening. Obviously, I take into consideration the state statutes that I mentioned, the city code, the Florida Building Code, and the International Property Maintenance Code, to the extent that those particular codes are the subject of the cases that are brought before me this evening. If there's documents that are going to be submitted that you want me to consider to see or matters you want me to hear, they become part of the record. And what that means is that if I'm seeing them, we need to keep them. So if you're giving me something you want me to consider it's going to be made part of the record and it'll be kept here with the city. So I want you to understand that because we're going to keep it so you won't get it back. It's made part of the official case file. They are public records and they're subject to public review. Should you need copies, then you can direct your request to Angela. She's the hearing clerk, and she can get you those copies if you so need them. I've already told you, the next item on the agenda, I already told you, I haven't talked to anybody about any of these cases, other than I think there's one case that's coming back. So we heard it in the same forum like this last month. And then I want everyone to know that there's some minutes that I've approved from the meeting of May 26, 2021. And then the next item is, there's a couple cases that have been withdrawn or continued. I want to announce those. So if you're here on those, I don't think anyone is, but let's just make sure. The first one that was continued was DEL 21068, the property address 1057 Angora Street, property owner Maria Font. That is been continued. Next case, this one was withdrawn. This is DEL 21069, property address 1709 South Village Drive, property owner Mark Hickson. So that one will not be heard this evening. And I believe there's one more, two more. The next one is DEL 21082, property address 2070 Oneida Court, property owners Dana Perrin and Johnny Henry. That's been continued. I'm sorry, that's withdrawn, complied with. And lastly, there was one more case. This one was continued. It's DEL 21087, property address 2187 Howland Boulevard, property owner Occupancy Expense Department. So those are the announcement and the cases. So the last matter before we get to business is if anyone here this evening, including the code enforcement officers, any witnesses, any property owners, tenants, if you're going to be testifying this evening and you want me to hear your testimony, we need to swear you in. So I'm going to ask you to stand and raise your right hand at this time, and we'll swear you in. If you're going to testify, this is your chance. Okay, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Great. When we call your case, go ahead and have a seat. When we call your case, and it's first come, first serve, that's how we always do it. When we call your case, first the city's going to go. So you'll have one of the code enforcement officers come up, and they'll tell me the city's case. And then if they have any witnesses, those folks will in support of the case, they'll testify. And then it'll be your turn. So when that happens, I'm asking you all to come right up to this podium right here with the microphone. And for the record, so it's clear, give me your name and your address, and then you'll be telling me what you want me to hear about your case. So with that, the first case is DEL 21067. And this is property address 2502 Shiprock Court. Property James and Sherry, I believe is how it's pronounced, Rada. And I believe this matter was heard, if I'm remembering correctly, last month, and it was continued. So if the city would, reintroduce the case so we can know where we left off and pick it up from there.
Yes, sir. My name's Scott Danley, enforcement officer. Case number DEL 21067. City of Deltona versus James and Sherry Rada. It's a nuisance cat complaint.
Could you speak into the microphone? I'm having a real hard time hearing you, sir.
It's a nuisance cat complaint that's been going on. The city is asking for a $100 a day fine each day until it's proven that the cats are not being sheltered or fed at the address of 2502 Shiprock. We have pictures and videos showing that the garage door's been open. There's been cats going in and out of the garage. So we believe there's food in the garage, or at the very least shelter for the cats.
And if I remember correctly, some of the issues from the last hearing were these cats don't necessarily belong to these property owners. They're feral animals. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And they're no longer part of the TNR program.
I can't hear you, sir.
They're no longer part of the TNR program.
They are not.
They are not.
How do you know that?
It's been testified by the TNR program itself and by the Radas.
Okay. What's happened since our last hearing? What more can you tell me that's new?
We still have the trap set. We check them every day. We take pictures every day. We get sent pictures and videos every day of the cats on other people's properties, their own property, entering the garage with the garage door open, in and out. I have new pictures, new videos.
So you're telling me that the situation hasn't changed since the last hearing? Because if I remember correctly, there was testimony last time that these folks were going to either try to move or they were going to try to sell their house, and I may be misremembering, or they were going to try to get rid of the cats. Has anything changed?
No, sir.
Okay. Does the city have any other witnesses who would like to present to me at this time?
Mr. Kohler?
Okay. Because, sir, if you could, you've got a microphone there. Could you tell me your name and your address, please, sir? Tell me what you want to hear.
Yes, sir. My name is Clement Kohler. I live at 2501 Shiprock Court here in Deltona. Yes, the situation hasn't changed. We've been turning in pictures. This is my next door neighbor, which lives just to the left of the Rada's home. The cats are still on the roof. They're going in and out of the missing soffit areas of the roof. They're entering the garage door, like I stated last month, stays open about a foot. They use a paint can to prop it open. The cats are going in, coming out. I have videos, and I have pictures here if you'd like to see. I have them on a flash drive. I have, I passed to the young lady the pictures and that I have. I have copies of them here. And there's basically a layout of all, I picked like 24. We have like over 100 pictures just in this last month of these cats. The cats are there when the riders are home or whether they're not home. The garage door is open, whether they're home or whether they're not home. We have pictures of the garage door being open at 9:30 at night, nobody's home. 7 o'clock in the morning, no one is home. So those cats have free access in and out of that garage. I don't know what the attraction is. I could only speculate that they're putting food out for the cats still. But they're still around. They're still on people's cars. They're on this young lady's roof as well. I've had in the past, I mentioned it last hearing, that I had to pay over $600 to have Terminex come out and block my roof so that the cats can't get on. I had to have tree limbs cut down because we couldn't figure out how they were getting in our house. But they accumulate. And over the last couple of years here, we've been dealing with this for probably 4 or 5 years now. The TNR program, who's run by the mayor, Heidi Herzberg, and her second in command, Brooke Light. I think I put some information up there too as well. She said that she tried to help. Brooke Light tried to help us. She made no effort whatsoever. She basically told us that this was a civil matter and we're to sue the Radas or get a class action lawsuit going. We've had little help from animal control, and I think it's because the mayor runs the program. There's just something, Mr. Lovett, back in 2019, I turned an affidavit in on a Friday. The case was closed on the following Monday, and come to find out that it was being turned over. We thought that the animal control was working on this problem. But actually, what was happening was that they were calling up this Brooke Light, who we didn't know. I ended up having to contact her to find out what was the story on who's taking care of these cats. Animal control has basically relinquished the responsibility of these animals over to this TNR program, which is undermanned and unsupervised. And over the years, these cats, every couple of months we're seeing new kittens there. There's pictures that I turned in as well, some of these gentlemen have seen here, of these cats, the kittens. And if this program has been in existence for 8 years now, there's been exponentially, these cats, we just keep seeing more and more cats. We didn't get any cooperation from Mr. Lovett, Mr. Lovett's group in the beginning, and we got very little from Mr. Gibson. We were trying to get traps set up so we can get these cats removed. I was to understand that these cats were being picked up, but then we saw the cats, and that's the same cat showing back up in the neighborhood again. So apparently they were trapping the cats. I assume they were taking it to Halifax, and we were told, initially, we were lied to, told that those cats were to be considered nuisance animals, and they were to be euthanized because they were damaging property. They damaged my property and this young lady as well. And I hope we'll give her a chance to say something if she wants. But they were just bringing them right back into the neighborhood and letting them go. And then we'd see them back over there at the Radas, going in the garage, climbing on the roof, getting in the attic via the missing soffit area. Anyway, I'm not sure. It seems like a waste of taxpayer dollars to have this gentleman and this lady come out to our area, pick up a cat, take him up to Halifax Hospital, and they bring him right back again. The gas, the manpower, the money, the tax dollars, our tax dollars are paying animal control to do the job, and they're turning this over to a bunch of untrained, unsupervised, and they're part-time people.
Okay,
They're not there all-
I'm less concerned about the policy of the city and the TNR program than about whether there's a code violation here, sir. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. What I am concerned about is the fact that Section 14.21, which is provided in the notice of hearing, says that it's unlawful for a person to permit animals to become a public nuisance. An animal should be declared a public nuisance. Animal, if such animal is, and the one that they're being cited for is repeatedly found at large. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've heard the testimony from the code enforcement officer. I've seen the pictures. I've received those. They're a matter of public record from the last meeting. I've heard the testimony of the neighbor. Ma'am, do you have any further testimony you'd like to provide to me?
Well, I also have, I live on fixed income. I'm disabled. And I have my house as best as I can. I want to, maintain it looking pretty. But, I mean, I've had cats on top of my roof. My yard, I had a garden in the back, and that is completely gone because they come in at night and do their needs and spray. They come to my front doorway and spray also. Every morning I have to put bleach down with water just to get the smell out because, I try to keep my house as best as I can with what I can afford, and I just can't afford to have a cat going inside my attic and destroying my air conditioner unit or whatever. I live in fear. I truly live in fear.
Well, I think it's really clear that there's a lot of cats in your neighborhood and they're running at large. What we need to establish is that these are cats that are being brought in your neighborhood or maintained by the Radas. So if you could direct specifically your testimony, again, ma'am, I've heard this from the gentleman already,
Right.
why you believe these are cats that belong to the Radas.
Yes, sir. And the thing
No, I'm
is-
looking for the
sorry.
young lady.
Well, from what I see, them going in and out, I believe probably they are. I think
Can
they
you,
are.
when you say they're going in and out, I need you to be
Of the
very
garage,
specific.
of the garage. So
Okay, the
it's like
Rada's
they
garage.
have shelter. So if they have shelter, they're going to keep coming back. If there's shelter, there's probably food. So they're just going to keep coming back, as long as the door is open. That's what I feel.
Have either of you spoken with the Radas about these cats and what they say about the cats?
Well, yes, I have, and, they say they're going to try and pick them up as much as they can, but, I think it's just a little out of control. I think there's might be just too many. I don't know. But they're
Okay.
all the same because they're all black. They're all the same color, so I don't know who was gone or, which one was brought back, because like Mr. Colin says, they take them up to Halifax. There's one particular one that was sick, a gray one. He looked like he was going to die, and I even felt sorry for him. Finally, we caught him.
Okay, again, I'm interested, folks, in just making
Okay.
sure that these are, there's two things I really need to prove. Cats running at large, and the cause of this is or is not the Radas. So, sir, I think you indicated to me that
Yes, sir.
you had spoken with the Radas about this matter. Could you tell me
Yes,
about
sir.
that?
And basically, I was shut down. There's a transcript of our conversation I had with Sherry Rada, that basically she told me she doesn't care what I think. She's blocking me. I used to be friends with these people until the cats started accumulating so much. And I tried to approach him. He was even, James Rada was even over to my house to repair one of my soffits.
Okay, what I'm interested in, sir, is just what they said about these cats. That's all
Yes,
I care
sir.
about.
Yes, sir. And the cats were taken, I've seen, and there's pictures of James Rada picking these cats up and taking them in the house. There's pictures of the wife, Sherry Rada, opening the door. Cats come running out, running into the garage. I mean, I've presented all this information to these people,
Right.
and it seems to be falling on, you know, I'm getting blind eye and deaf ear here.
Well, we're here tonight, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I
so let's
appreciate
just
that.
deal with the
Thank you.
present, okay?
Yes, sir.
So what's the city's position about compliance? What's compliance?
At the very least, to keep the garage door open so the cats aren't entering the garage for shelter and/or food. And we would like to ask for you to declare them a nuisance. So we're going to work with the TNR program to trap the cats and relocate them to a different colony so they're not in the Shiprock area.
All right, ma'am, for the record, I'm sorry, it's hard to hear sometimes. Could you give us your name and your address, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
My
okay.
name is Margarita Rivera, and I live at 2510 Shiprock Court. I'm their neighbors.
Okay.
The
Does the
Radisson.
city have anything further?
No, sir.
Okay.
I do, sir, if I may. Just FYI, our district commissioner 6, Mr. Sosa, city manager Peters, O'Grady, he's a special hire. He'll be here until September. Was supposed to straighten out animal control, from what I understand. And Mr. Gibson have been to my home and have seen these animals. I mean, they could testify.
Well, they're not here tonight, so anything
No,
that,
they
anything,
are. Mr. Gibson's here, and he has seen these cats.
again, I can't rely on your testimony about what someone else saw, or that's hearsay.
Yes, sir.
Now, if the city has other witnesses that they want to present to me tonight, I'm happy to hear them, but I have to hear from people who have personal knowledge of what they're testifying about. That's part of the due process.
He does, in fact.
That's fine. I'm relying, this is the city's case. You're a
Okay,
witness,
yes,
sir.
sir.
I'm relying on what the city wants to present to me. So far, they presented their own testimony, witnesses, and some photographs, and if the city has nothing further, then I'll hear from the property owners.
Yes, sir, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, would the Rodas or anyone on their behalf, please come forward and tell me what you want me to hear. Your name, please, sir.
James Rada, is that working?
I'm not sure.
There we go. James Rada.
Now it's working.
There we go.
What are we going to do about these cats?
Well, in the first place, the only reason we got involved in this program was for the exact same reasons that they're bringing up. For starters, those cats, plural, at one point there were about 20 cats in this neighborhood until we got involved with this TNR program to get them caught, get them fixed. We followed the rules, we did what they told us to do, and that was supposed to make them lose the attraction of the area, because if you have like 1 or 2 females that are able to get pregnant, it'll attract other cats for miles around. So it kept building and building. This one actually introduced us to the idea of Heidi, our mayor, being involved with the TNR program in the first place. I show up home after work one day, she's in my driveway telling us about the program. They're using the word cats, plural. There are 2 cats left. 2. 1, 2. We took from 20 to 30 cats and got it down to 2. We've been doing the best we can between my wife is a 3rd shift COVID nurse. I'm a division chief of a decent plumbing company. We work all the time, and we're raising a daughter of a family member. She's not our kid, but we're raising her. We got our plate full, but we still tried to be decent neighbors and help remedy the problem. Instead, we get surveillance 24 hours a day. This one, pointing cameras at my house.
All right, I need you to talk to me. Otherwise, we're just going to have a lot of arguments. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of...
We're being made out to be bad guys when we were supposedly the ones that were trying to help.
Mr. Roddy, you're not a bad guy to me, okay? I'm just trying to understand what the facts are and make sure everyone understands what the code requires. That's all we're doing tonight.
Okay.
No one is here to make a good guy, bad guy.
I just don't like being slandered in public, is all.
Well, you know what? I'm just hearing the evidence, and so that's why I want to talk to you. What I'm hearing you say is that there's still a couple cats that are in your care. Is that fair?
There's one, but not in our care. We stopped putting food in the garage over a month ago when I was standing right here, and you told me point blank, don't feed them. I said, yes, sir, done.
Okay?
There's no food in the garage. The cat is, I don't know. I'm not home all the time watching a cat go in and out of the garage. It gets 140 degrees in that garage. That's where our washer dryer is, and it's also where I sit out at night and do my paperwork. I'm a smoker, so
Understood.
I'm obviously not going to smoke in my house, especially not with a child. So, you know,
So do you leave the garage door open when you're gone? Because that seems to be what the pictures show.
I generally leave it, I leave it open.
So it sounds like the cats...
I never actually close the garage.
Because it sounds like the cats are coming in and out from your garage.
I guess, I don't,
So...
I mean, I do see them come in and out, yeah.
Okay, so,
But
look...
they're probably just coming in looking for food that's not there now, which,
What we're trying to do is make sure that these cats that have seem to have made your home their home,
okay.
that we need to have them stop running at large. Let me read you again what this code is. That's the only reason we're here tonight. It says, "It is unlawful for a person to permit animals to become a public nuisance. An animal should be declared a public nuisance animal if such animal is repeatedly found at large." Now, I think it's pretty clear from the record, from the evidence that I've received, that there's a lot of cats in this neighborhood that are running at large because they're not on leashes and they're not in a fenced yard and they're running around.
Well, not now, there were. Yeah, absolutely, there were, but not anymore. That's what it seems, they're still pushing the point as if there's, you know, a dozen cats running around this neighborhood in our specific area. It's an absolute untrue statement.
So tell me, you're under oath, what's your testimony? How many cats are still around your house?
I see two. There's one black one with a fuzzy tail that has the snipped ear, it's fixed, and there's a gray male that won't come anywhere near the house, won't come anywhere near us. I think you guys actually saw it before. That's the only two cats that are anywhere near my house.
All right. I'm going to ask you to sit down. I'm going to talk a little bit with the city, try to find their position on your testimony, if you don't mind. I'm not telling you to go home. I've heard what I need to hear so far, okay?
Okay.
So if you'd have a seat, and then I may want to talk to you again.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody's heard me read this code a couple times. Now, what I've heard from the property owner is that there's one cat that's still around his house, and there's another one that's got a little snip in the ear, two cats. So that's not what I thought I was hearing from the city's position. So I'm asking for the code enforcement officer. What is your personal knowledge about the cats out in this location?
Yes, sir. I go out there once a day for 4 days to check the traps. I personally I've seen two black cats, a gray cat. I've seen gray and white, like 6-month-old kittens. I've seen a Siamese cat.
Okay, this is all great, but where are the cats? Are they associated with the Rada property?
I've seen them on their property. I've seen them next door at Miss Rivera's property. We get pictures and videos almost daily from Mr. Kohler and Miss Rivera showing the cats on their property or on this property. That's where most of our pictures and videos come from. It's from them.
All right. So these cats are not licensed or registered cats as being owned by the Radas. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. So they're feral cats?
Yes, sir.
For all practical, as defined in your code?
Yes, sir.
All right. And this is to anyone at the city, what is the, if this property owner, Mr. Rada, says, look, it's not my problem. These are feral cats. This is a city problem. It's not my problem. Because the city's asking me to find him in violation of a code that he's required to comply with, or there's going to be a fine imposed upon him.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So I need to know what's the city's position and why I should fine this property owner for arguably a problem that is feral cats.
Yes, sir, because the cats are still finding shelter, even if there isn't food, they're still finding shelter on his property. So shelter or food says that they're the owners by law. If you provide shelter or food or water for an animal, by state statute, you're the owner of the animal.
Okay, I need, if someone can give me the citation to that, that'd be wonderful, because that is not part of the record this evening. And that's an important part of this case.
Yes, sir.
at-large, I'm looking at your code. The at-large is a defined term, means a dog or cat not under the direct control of the owner, whether licensed or unlicensed. So it's not relevant whether it's licensed or unlicensed, but it does require it to be the owner.
Yes, sir.
So let's see if there's a definition for owner. Owner means a person owning, keeping, harboring, or having control of one or more animals. Owning, well, that doesn't help. An owner means anyone owning. That doesn't help. Keeping, harboring, or having control of one or more animals. Deemed to be harbored if it is fed or sheltered for 10 or more consecutive days. I don't have any testimony that these cats have been harbored or fed or sheltered for 10 or more consecutive days. I'm reading from the definition in the city code. An implied owner will be construed as the owner of an animal. An animal owner is responsible for keeping their animals under direct control at all times and will be held accountable for any violation of this chapter. So your code requires me to make a determination that the RADAs have control of these animals, that they're the owners of these animals. Unless I'm missing some.
I cannot say that we have pictures of 10 straight days of the cats being in and out of the garage. We could. I'm not sure without going through all the pictures and videos.
Let's just say for the sake of discussion this evening, folks, let's look at this coming from a different angle, that no one knows who owns these animals. This is a general question for anyone in the city. What are you going to do with them? Who's going to come fix this problem for this community?
We're going to trap them and speak to TNR about relocating them to a different area so they're not.
And why haven't we done that already?
I do not know.
Is there anyone with animal control here this evening? Here's my dilemma. I'm having testimony clearly that there's a problem in this neighborhood with cats. But the solution that the city's asking me to come up with is putting the responsibility for the cure of that problem on one property owner. And I can only do that if I find that this property owner has violated a code, because this is called code enforcement. I'm not picking on you, but I'm just telling you. And I don't want to make this person be responsible for picking up 20 or whatever cats are in the neighborhood, because all I've heard is that he said, I've got one cat that comes into my garage. Anybody? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Could you state your name again?
My name is Clement Kohler, 2501 Shiprock Court.
All right.
Here in Deltona. As far as that 10-day rule goes, we're there 10 days. We're there 365 days out of the year. This gentleman's there 4 days, maybe 5 minutes each time.
Right.
Come check the traps.
Right, right.
As well as Marion Quinones.
It's okay, I got it.
It comes from time to time. They spend very little time there. They see very little. We were, whenever we initially signed our affidavit, they told us to, we need proof. So we supplied them with all this proof, and still, deaf ear, blind eye.
I'm not, I'm really not worried about that, sir. What I want to know from you is, tell me what you've seen about these cats with Mr. Rada's property. That's what I want to hear from you.
There's definitely more than 2 cats there. There's pictures that I have on this flash drive since you told him last month to stop feeding these cats. I can't get a group shot or anything on all these cats, but like there are 2 cats on the roof, 1 laying in the driveway. They're up on the garbage cans, jumping up onto the roof, going in through the, they're not all like, they don't conglomerate, they don't all get together in one area. We see them from time to time, running in, running out, running over to my neighbor's house.
I'm reading the definition here, and I'm listening to you.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening to you, but you understand what my job is.
Yes,
I got to
sir.
make certain findings of fact. Animals shall be deemed to be harbored if it is fed or sheltered for 10 or more consecutive days.
Right. Well, I can guarantee you that they're because they've picked cats up and taken these cats in the house under their arm, and there's pictures.
Yeah,
there.
I saw it.
So, they're taking these cats in their home. I see the cats go in the garage, the internal garage door, you know, from the house to the garage. We'll see them go in one door and they'll come running out through the garage, or see them go in through the garage and come running out the front. And there's a video of Miss Rada as well on there opening up the door, and you can see the cats run out of the house and run into the garage, right into the garage.
All right.
So there's more than 10 cats there.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rada, I know you want to talk to me again. Come on up.
I was just comment on self-admittedly, if you have all these pictures recently within the last month or so of cat here, cat here, cat here, okay, you just described 3 cats, okay? Not 20 and kittens and Siamese and all these other cats. You just self-admitted that it's not an overabundance of cats. The in and out of the house, I've done it before, my wife probably does it too. We'll take them and walk them through the house and put them into the backyard because of this. Because 24-hour surveillance, using anything and everything to make us look like we're, I don't even know what the point of this is, honestly. I understand the damage to the home. I've got damage to my house from them too, which is the whole reason why we got involved, to actually do something about it instead of just complain and put it on the city. You know, there's a such thing as being proactive. Get involved, do something about it.
Ms. Rada, talk to me.
Instead of sitting back, and the people that do actually step up and spend money and time, effort, use that to go after the Good Samaritan people, and come on. It's ridiculous behavior. There is one last thing, sorry, not last thing, but when you were speaking about the statutes under the City of Deltona website, we were, because we're not involved with this TNR anymore, community cat caregiver. It's from their website under the TNR program rules from the city website. I don't know if y'all could bring that up, but basically, this is what I read to you last time. The provision of care to a community cat by a community cat caregiver shall not be considered a use of real property that is regulated by the city's land development regulations. A community cat caregiver shall not be considered the owner or harborer of a community cat. And that's straight from the TNR ordinance program definition of what we were, because it's obvious, too much trouble. So.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me read this.
And we pulled that directly off the
All right.
city website.
Thanks. Now, let me talk to the city now. You can have a seat.
Okay.
This gentleman has just told me that in our code, and I'm looking at it right now, there's a definition under Chapter 14, community cat caregiver. Person in accordance with the trap, neuter, return program provides care to a community cat. Community cat caregiver shall not be considered the owner or harborer of a community cat. The provision of care to a community cat by a community cat shall not be considered a use of real property that is regulated by the city's land development regulations. He's saying, let me ask, are you saying that you are a community cat giver, sir?
Not any longer, no.
Okay. Well, that didn't help you.
Well,
okay.
That's what we were considered under the.
Well, but we're here tonight. All right, does the city have anything further?
No, sir, as you can see up here, I have probably 30 pictures just on one day, and I can pull more. I can go through them and show you if you wish.
All right, before I rule, I want to ask the city, is the city at this time in any way trying to remove cats from this neighborhood?
Yes, sir, we have 2 traps set.
Okay, and this is a question for you 3 folks right there. Do you see the number of cats decreasing in this neighborhood because of those 2 traps?
I did at one point, maybe a couple months ago, but it seems to be, I've seen new cats I haven't seen before. I trapped a black and white kitten about 6 months old a few weeks ago, and I've currently have pictures provided by Mr. Kohler of 2 other gray and white 5 or 6 month old cats that I've never seen in the neighborhood before. But I also see the same cats, the 2 black cats, a gray cat that recently came back, Siamese cat. Like I said, I'm there 4 days a week for 5 minutes. So I just see what I see when I'm there. But Mr. Kohler and Ms. Rivera send videos and pictures in almost every day.
All right, Mr. Kohler, the city has said that they're trying to help with the problem. The problem is too many cats in your neighborhood by putting traps out there. Do you believe that the problem with the cats is decreasing because of these, for
No,
whatever
sir.
reason, but including and limited to these traps?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Does the city have more traps to put out there? Hang on.
I'd have to check what they want, what my supervisors want us to do. If we have more traps, I have no problem setting more traps.
Okay. Well, okay, let's get, hang on a second.
If I may, sir, the traps that they set out there, once those cats are trapped, they take them to Halifax Humane Society. They return them back to the same neighborhood. Those cats aren't going to get back in those traps again. They don't get back in there. They continue to do their damage
Okay.
to our property.
Well, that's not a code issue, but that's a legitimate point, and that's not this guy's fault. But that's something for the city to discuss. That's way beyond what we can fix tonight, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. So here's my dilemma. Let's say that I find that this gentleman and his wife are harboring some cats, because they're not community cat caregivers. He just testified to that.
Yes, sir.
And it sounds like he's got some cats that he's taking care of. And I say, okay, I'm going to enter an order, and you've got to stop doing this in 30 days, or I'm going to start a fine. How in the world are we going to prove that he's complied?
We can 100%. I mean, the only day we can see
I
if
am
the
not
garage.
about to enter an order where I start fining somebody because we have no possible way of proving whether he's complied or not.
I understand. The only thing I have is the garage door being open and there being shelter. That's all that I can prove and show.
Close the
I
garage.
have a solution to that garage door issue, since it seems.
Come on up. Come on up.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Hang on. Look.
I can put mesh. I'm going to leave my garage door cracked because I'm not going to let my wife wash clothes in a 140-degree
Sure.
garage. And that's my little man cave spot. So garage door is going to stay cracked. I'll put some chicken wire across the base of that on the inside of the door down to the floor so nothing can get in and out of the garage. Would that be a fair thing to do? And that way, no animal can get in or out through my garage.
I don't know, sir. I can't tell you that that's going to be compliance or not, but
And about the traps,
And
about 3 months ago, I asked to give me some traps because it's obvious I've caught them before. I don't have a problem catching them because I caught them, brought them here, got them fixed, and then they made me take them back. So I asked for a couple traps a few months ago. I never got them. And I don't spend hour after hour surveilling a neighbor's house, taking pictures
Okay.
and videos. So I don't have time.
Here's what I've got to do.
I'm trying to help with the
I don't want to
solution.
belabor this. It's been going on a while now, last month now. Bottom line, I'm going to ask you a direct question. It says right in here, if you feed or shelter a cat, then you're responsible for it. And it sounds like that you are not feeding them since last month, but you're still sheltering. Is that true?
Not purposely, but I can see the point of with my garage door open, it's
Right.
obvious that, you know, I've only seen 1 or 2 personally
You see my
recently
dilemma?
that go in and
I'm not
out.
trying to ask you to do something that's impossible, but I am asking you to do something that is possible. Like anyone, I mean, if you live next door to someone that had allowed a colony of animals in, you know, to prosper and live in a community, and it's hurting your property, because that's what we've got here. So I've got to find, and I think I am going to determine that you have been harboring cats, and I think you can stop by just taking reasonable steps. I'm not telling you what to do, Mr. Rada, but I think you can take reasonable steps so that these cats stop seeing and using your house as a base of operations, if you will. You follow what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to find that the property owner is in violation of the code. I'm going to give 30 days to come into compliance and do what's reasonable to make sure these cats stop coming into your house, you stop sheltering them, okay? But
Well,
I
now,
want
we
the
don't
city-
actually keep them in, we take them through and put them in the backyard.
Well, that's kind of.
We're not actually physically harboring and taking care of them. We do the one thing, we catch them, get them fixed, and then they give them back, which we haven't done that in months. They give them back to, like, drop them right back where they started. And
Well, that's for the city. That's an issue
Exactly.
for the city. I
We
don't
are
know what's
following
there.
to the letter the rules that they tell us to do. And this community cat caregiver, whatever term they use to describe what we are, because we're actually were participating in the TNR, plainly states that we are not considered the owner or harborer.
I get that.
So that's, how are we still
Mr. Ryan,
being
we're
considered
beyond
a
that.
harborer?
I'm making a ruling that you have been sheltering these cats. Don't take them in your house and then through the house to put them in the backyard, because these cats see your house as their house.
Well, they're taking a picture of every animal over and over and over.
Let's focus on what you can do. Let's focus on what you can do to try to solve the problem. The code is what the code is. So I'm simply saying that 30 days, you got 30 days to do what you can. But I am telling the court, I'm telling the city, that if you come back to find this guy, this property owner has violated the code and hasn't come into compliance, I'm going to be looking for very clear evidence.
Mr. Reichman, if
Yeah.
I may, if he's found guilty of nuisance, having nuisance animals, the city is going to coordinate along with the TNR program to have these animals removed. It's going to be a combined combination of the two, the city and
Okay.
TNR, to have them all removed, so that
Yeah, I mean,
would
I'm not-
eliminate the problem.
Removed
This
from where?
man's
Outside?
not responsible for...
We've been trying to catch them.
Hang on, I'm about to argue for you, so you need to be quiet, okay? I'm not going to hold this man responsible for cats he's not sheltering or feeding. That's not what the code says. So what and I'm going beyond what in the scope now, but it sounds like that this community, this neighborhood has a cat problem. And it's his problem to the extent that you're feeding and sheltering them. That's all you're doing wrong to the extent that you're doing it. The rest of it is a community problem. To your point, sir. Right?
Yes, sir, kind of. The point I was trying to make, sir, is that the animals are coming to a source. That's why they're staying there. So that's why we went forth with deeming him as a nuisance animals.
Well, I'm finding that he used sheltering these cats.
Okay.
You got 30 days to comply. But I'm telling the city, when it comes back, if you're going to try to convince me that he's not coming in compliance, I'm going to want to know exactly what your evidence is.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to give you 30 days or a fine in the amount of $50 per day if you can't comply. So I'm asking you to work with these gentlemen and with the neighbors. City needs to work with these neighbors, try to solve this problem, because I can't do it with just a piece of paper.
Well, we haven't fed since exactly
that.
then. There's no food, there's no water. The shelter thing, I get it. I'm not an idiot. They're using my garage as shelter.
Right.
I'm going to block off the gap so nothing can go in or out.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And will that
Well, don't
consider
take them
me
inside.
not to harbor?
You know,
I mean,
sheltering.
can't
I mean,
stop
it's
these
just simple. It's simple.
loose
Don't take them
animals
inside your
across
house.
my
Don't take them
yard.
through your house.
Right?
You know, they're not your cats. You don't want them. I'm telling you, these are animals at large. You shouldn't be messing with them. That's what the
Yeah,
code
we're not.
says.
That's why we stopped.
Okay.
Now, I
All right,
can't
that's
stop
my-
one from crossing my yard or crawling across my roof, right? I mean, that's not going to still...
That's not, no. I'm talking about where you do something to have them in or around your house, where you take affirmative steps, sir.
Right,
Like-
that's just a better definition of harboring. If I keep them out of my garage, that will keep me from being considered harboring, right?
Okay. I just need this is going to be a bigger problem than just what this gentleman can control. So that's my ruling, 30 days. You need to try to speak with this gentleman, keep in contact with this gentleman about what you're doing, make sure he knows what you're doing. And the city is going to need, if they're going to come back with a Massey hearing, they're going to need to know exactly what he's doing and not doing.
Yes, sir.
Okay? All right. That's all I have on this matter.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a question.
No, sir, we're done.
Okay.
We're done. Thank you. Thank you. Next case.
Thank you. The thing is, I want to make sure, you know, they're saying here to, are we continue to surveil, keep up surveillance, or are we supposed to stop? I'm going to keep it up.
We're done. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you, folks.
Will we come back in 30 days?
It's up to the city.
Okay.
Depends on whether we got a problem solved, sir. All right, the next case is actually two cases, and it's DEL 21080 and DEL 21081, because those are the same property. It's property address for both these cases is 100 Enterprise Road.
Okay.
And the property owners are Rafael Rodriguez and Haiti Rogue Moret. And I apologize if I've mispronounced those names. We're going to do them one at a time. The first one is DEL 21080. Address is identified, property owners is identified. This case involves a fence. City ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
On case number DEL 21-081, that property is now, oh, I'm sorry, DEL 21080. That property is in, that case is in compliance. So I'd like to just find that case in compliance and withdraw it.
Okay.
Okay?
This is progress. This is what I like to hear. All right. DEL 21081, which is the second case at this address. This one has to do with a roof.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Richard Lovett. I'm employed by the City of Deltona as a code compliance officer. This is case number DEL 21-081, the City of Deltona versus Rafael Osorio Rodriguez and Haiti Rogue Moore. The property address is 100 Enterprise Road. The parcel ID number is 8130-223-30010. This is a violation of the City of Deltona Code of Ordinances, Section 18-5, adopting the latest edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, Section 304.7, which states that roof and flashing shall be sound, tight, and not have defects that emit rain. The statutory requirements of the notice of hearing have been met by the notice of hearing and notice of violation were sent certified mail to the property owner at the address listed at the property appraiser's office and were posted on the property 10 days before this hearing. All the evidence in this case, including photographs, have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the hearing clerk, and I certified all photographs taken are true and accurate portrayals of what I observed on the date they were taken. I have just spoken with Mr. Rodriguez right before this. He is asking for 30 days to get this property fixed. This is a commercial lot that's been vacant for a long time. He has gone in there and taken down the fence. So he's asking for 30 days to finish up the roof, and he's asked for us to meet him out there to go over everything on that property on Monday. And I feel that's adequate time for him to finish it.
Mr. Rodriguez, you're here for the property? You're a property owner?
Yes, that's okay to explain this, but I want to
He would-
explain, I have another thing in this solar, but I live this law.
So 30 days?
I need people to translate it.
30 days is going to be enough for you, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell me for tonight for this roof issue?
Can you give her a hand, Gladys? Man.
Gladys, can you translate for him?
Ajá, señor Rostrario, le están preguntando si hay otra cosa que usted quiere que hagan. Le van a dar 30 días para que arregle el asunto, cualquier otra cosa que usted quiere que ellos sepan.
Well, I turned it off because this was only set up.
¿Usted cree que 30 días es suficiente tiempo para...? Okay. He thinks that... Oh, okay, he says 30 days is fine with him, but as a matter of fact, he just said he wants to say something else. So I don't know in reference to what that would be.
No, that's fine.
¿Qué es lo que usted quiere dejarle saber?
Lo que yo quiero dejar de saber es que hace aproximadamente 12 años compramos ese lote. Y se compró en el 2009 y ahora nos han dicho que allí hay un árbol histórico. Nunca habíamos sabido que había un árbol histórico allí. Y tan pronto se compró el lote, el cual es comercial, se nos pidió que podíamos hacer, nos dijeron que podíamos hacer allí lo que quisiéramos, que lo que habíamos que cambiar la luz, que era aérea, y la mandaron a hacer soterrada. La hicimos soterrada y gastamos un promedio de $2,000 con Deltona Electric. Además hemos pagado taxes por 10 años, $3,400. Hemos limpiado el solar y nos cobran $100 cada mes. Llevamos 10 años por cada mes. ¿Cuántos son? Casi 10. Aquí está, dicen, hemos limpiado el solar cada mes pagando $100 por limpieza. Durante 12 años, eso sale más de $12,000 por año que hemos gastado. Hemos puesto la fianza de la luz y el agua, que tuvimos que quitarlo porque ya no nos dejaban con venderla. Y el solar se compró en el 2009. En estos 12 años hemos pagado taxes, luz, limpieza del solar y hemos arreglado todo lo que nos han pedido de los taxis. Siempre que venimos, alguien viene, han venido más de 20 compradores y cuando vamos a cerrar el sílice opuesto, quisiéramos saber qué opciones tenemos nosotros para poder vender ese solar que llevamos ya pagando 12 años y siempre que vienen al sitio, el City dice que no y en otras ocasiones han dicho...
Okay, sir, hang on a second. Just hang on.
Excuse me.
Here's what I need to know. Because the question was, is 30 days okay? And that had to be more than yes or no.
Yes, he is not, this is not with reference to the roof or the fence anymore. It goes beyond that. 12 years ago since he bought the property, and they're telling him that now there's a historical tree on the property, and that has created a myriad of problems for her.
Okay. Could you tell him that all we're concerned about tonight, right now, is just the roof?
Okay.
That it's in disrepair, and that is 30 days okay for him to be able to get to repair it. That's all I need to know.
Yes, sir. Lo único que se va a discutir esta noche es el problema de la verja o lo que sea, el techo.
El techo.
Y él solamente quiere saber si los 30 días que la ciudad le va a dar para reparar el techo es suficiente tiempo para usted.
Sí, suficiente.
Lo otro es otro caso aparte.
Quisiera pedir un consejo. ¿Dónde voy entonces?
Vamos a bregar con el techo ahora y después de eso se discute por separado.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said 30 days would be fine
Okay.
for him to come into compliance with that.
Okay. Could you let him know the following? First of all, tell him thank you for being here tonight and for cooperating. Number two, tell him that I'm going to give him 30 days to comply, and when he complies, he needs to tell that man, the code enforcement officer, that he's complied, or there'll be a fine of $25 per day. Can you tell him that?
Sure.
Okay.
Él le quiere dar las gracias por estar aquí esta noche, por su cooperación, y al final de los 30 días que le está dando la ciudad para reparar el techo, tiene que notificarse con el oficial aquí. Si no lo notifica, le pueden dar una multa comenzando de $25 por día hasta que arregle el asunto.
¿Cómo?
¿Usted entiende eso?
Lo entiendo.
He understands, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gracias, señor Rosario.
Okay. Gracias, man.
All right, the next case is dealing with 2481 Barbarossa Avenue, and there's 6 cases, and those start with 21074 and continue through 21079, and the property is again at 2481 Barbarossa Avenue, and it looks like a LLC is the owner, Talone Savtori LLC Trust. I'm assuming that's it. City ready to proceed. First case involves a nuisance for debris.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second, please.
Do you know if the property owners are here tonight?
Yes, sir. The property owner, the executor of the trust is here. She was sworn in. And the tenant, it is a situation where the resident slash tenant of the home has been there for several years, and he is leasing the property in reference to buy, if I'm not mistaken, from the trust, the home, sort of like a rent-to-buy situation.
Have you spoken with these folks?
I have spoken to both parties involved, and we should be all on the same page as far as the cases and as far as the city's plan and their plan of action to come into compliance.
All right. Got a lot of cases here. I'm trying to find a way to do this. Let me do this. It's a little bit out of order, but I'm going to hear from the property owners first.
Sure.
Okay?
Absolutely, sir.
Property owners, can you please come forward? If you could stand there, we removed the, so just if you could stand and give me your names, please.
My name's Scott Stevens.
Say that again?
My name's Scott Stevens. I live at 2481 Barbarossa Avenue.
And ma'am, your name?
My name is Cheryl Danboys. I live at 17053 Arrowhead Boulevard, Winter Garden.
Okay, and what I need to know was, ma'am, what is your relationship to the property?
I am the managing member of the Talon Savtori LLC that has the trust.
Okay, right, and that's the owner, that Talon
Well, actually, Scott has an option, a lease option on the property.
But right now, as we stand here talking to each other, he doesn't own it yet. He just has an option.
Yes.
Okay, so he wants to be the owner of it.
Yes.
Apparently, he's a glutton for punishment. Okay, so I've got 5 cases here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just trying to get to because the gentleman from the city said it looks like you guys have been talking. We've got debris, and then we've got more debris. We have outdoor storage, improper parking, more debris, 3 cases on debris, and then the last one is no permit for a right-of-way. So those are the 5 cases. What's your understanding of these problems and what you can do to fix them?
I've been working on it. I'm trying to get my daughter evicted, and that's where I'm having an issue, because it's not me, it's them.
You don't live there?
Yes, I live there.
You live there too?
I live there.
With your daughter?
Well, I moved my daughter in. She needed help. So I moved her in, and it's her boyfriend's doing this to me.
You gotta love family. All right, so I'm gonna ask the city, and we'll get into all the details in a second. What's your understanding of what the agreement is that you told me you had with these folks before to remedy all of these cases? Is there one, or are they each one different?
My initial conversation was to set up 45 days to finish the work that was required to come into compliance. After having conversations and reviewing case history with my supervisor, we have changed that a little bit to shorten that timeline for specific ordinance violations.
So they're different depending upon which case. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir, they are. Some of them are grouped together. If you'd like, I can.
Let's just go, if they were all the same, then we could try to work it that way, but let's do them one by one. So let's start with 21074. We're gonna go down them one by one. 21074. This is involving a nuisance for debris. Now, maybe you could tell me, because I'm seeing 3 of them here for nuisance and debris. So I'm not sure how you can have 3 separate cases for one type of. Yeah, thanks. Let's start out with this first one. This one is
74?
38110B2.
Okay, I got it. So 74. I'll start with introduction. My name is Myron San Miguel. I'm employed by the city of Deltona as an enforcement services officer. This will be case number DEL 21-074, the City of Deltona versus Talon Savtori LLC Trust. The address is 2481 Barbarossa Ave in Deltona, Florida, 32738. This case is going to be, if I may, sir, grouped under the same requirements requested by the city. If I can present all three of those cases. Or
Which cases are those?
These are going to be DEL 21-074, DEL 21-079,
Okay, that's two.
and DEL 21-076. Storage of debris, storage of commercial waste relating to commercial or industrial uses, materials or objects that are not incidental to residential use.
That's the outdoor storage.
Yes, sir.
And the third one you said was no permit for a right-of-way?
Yes, sir. So our city code states a right-of-way use permit to be utilized if it's going to be intended to be driven over multiple times repeatedly, basically using it as a driveway to access the front yard. If I may, if you look to the photos that I'm about to present, there's vehicles parked in the right-of-way. Half of it is now dirt due to the fact you can see in this picture on the right-hand side. Scott has gone ahead above and beyond what was actually requested from the city, and he's proceeded to sod the entire front yard. It was at one point dirt, so we're halfway there. He's going to continue, from my understanding, finishing sodding the property. There's just some challenges there with the evictions and moving things along. My request for finishing up the debris, cleaning up the property, removing the tires, that third one in regards to construction, that ordinance is specific to car parts and items of that nature, ATVs, things that are not generally in the front yard.
This is the outdoor storage case you're talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So all three of these cases kind of go hand in hand due to the fact that we're going to request a compliance. We're going to give 45 days beyond today and request a $50 a day fine to be
How many
applied.
days? 45?
45 days to finalize those three code violations and come into compliance, or $50 a day.
All right.
Which is what we had previously discussed.
All right, folks. What I'm just heard from the city is that, remember now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cases tonight, but they're breaking them down. They're separating them out. The first case is actually 3 different. It's the debris and the outdoor storage, all these things that you're seeing in the photos, and the parking in the right-of-way, using the right-of-way. And they're saying that they've talked to you and that you agree that these are still in violation, and you have 45 days, that you can fix it in 45 days. So my question to the two of you is that your understanding of the solution to these 3 different code violations?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I talked to Scott, and he wasn't aware. I drove by the home before I came here, and I saw what, obviously is in the pictures. And I called a towing company because the car that's parked in the right-of-way is actually an expired tag on it. There's not Scott's. And I says, all we have to do is call the towing company. They'll come and tow this stuff away. And he goes, I wasn't aware I could do that.
Okay, well,
So, yes.
what they're saying is 45 days to remove the debris, Scott, the outdoor storage, and the improper use of the right-of-way.
Yes.
And you're saying that's okay?
Yes.
Okay. And has you put into the record the exhibits for the notices that are required?
Yes, sir, I have. They've been properly noticed. These violations were initially noticed in May, At the time of notice, the deadline was appropriated and discussed with Scott. And unfortunately, at that time of deadline, when I revisited the property, they were not in compliance. So I began to extend a little bit longer and explain the process of special magistrate to them. Well, to Scott, rather. I recently became in contact with the trust designee and therefore gave them a couple more weeks leading up until tonight and then discussed a plan of action past tonight.
All right, so on these 3 cases, I'm finding that the city has met its burden. On these 3 cases we've just got done talking about, that the property is in violation and that it'll be fixed. These 3 situations will be fixed in 45 days. And that if they're not, there'll be a fine imposed, because that's how this system works. There's a carrot and there's a stick. That's the stick. We don't want to use the stick. I don't think we're going to have to use the stick, but I just want to make sure you know that's going to be the order. That'll be in the order. I didn't want that to be a surprise when you get the order that's going to be in there. But that's because that's how it works. Okay. So we're done with those 3. There's 3 more.
Yes, sir.
Are those grouped together?
2 of them will be grouped together. The 3rd one is separated, so I would like to...
Let's deal with the 2.
Yes, sir.
Which 2 are we working on next?
The next 2 will be DEL 21-077 for ordinance section 6618.
Improper parking.
Improper parking in the front yard forward to the edge of the principal dwelling except on the approved driveway or driveway extension.
And?
The next case will be DEL 21-075.
These are the 2 cases that you're grouping together.
Yes, sir.
And that's more different, I'm assuming, different debris.
Yes, sir. This is going to be wrecked, discarded, junked, abandoned, or inoperative dismantled vehicles, and referencing specifically the camper that is on the side of the house here.
You get it, Scott? I know, but I mean, you understand what we're talking about in this case.
Which we've discussed, and other possible inoperable vehicles.
That's the debris you're talking about. That's 075.
075 is section 6657.
Got it. What about the improper parking?
The improper parking is 6618 for DEL 21077.
And could you show Scott the photos for that?
Yes, the improper parking is the truck parked here in the front yard. This shows the Polaris again parked in the front yard, a clear picture of the camper, which I was told by testimony of the boyfriend who owns the camper that it is not yet registered.
So I just want to make sure, so Scott and I'm sorry, ma'am, your last name?
Cheryl.
Sherry?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. So Scott and Cheryl know exactly what it is they need to do to bring the property in compliance. What is it that they need to do for this case for improper parking?
For this case for improper parking, you need to specifically remove the Polaris and the truck off the front yard and park it on the driveway. The city is going to request for these 2 cases, again, that's DEL 21077 and DEL 21075, to have 1 week or $50 a day, due to the amount of time we believe would be required and necessary to come to compliance reasonably.
Okay. All right. Cheryl, Scott, do you think you can get these things done, these 2 things done in a week?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because, I mean, I'm trying to make sure you're okay with this. Seems like you're here and you're trying to comply, and so that's why I'm looking at you. Because our objective here is not to hurt you. Our objective is to get the house looking good. Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So those are the 2 cases in the order. In these 2 cases, 21075 and 21077, I'm going to find that these 2 cases, they are still in violation, and that 1 week is reasonable, Scott, to get them into compliance, or there'll be a fine of $50 per day. So I hope someone's writing this down. And if you
I'm
could
writing it down,
make
sir.
sure, because I don't want these folks to be confused, because there's a lot of cases, and I want them, we're not trying to set you up for failure.
Yes, sir. I have these separated, written down, and checked off, and you guys will get copies of everything as well.
Okay. All right, so that leaves, by process of elimination, the last case, which
Yes,
is
sir.
DEL 21078, which is another nuisance, different nuisance and debris.
Correct, sir.
So
This-
tell me why that one is different, sir.
This DEL 21078 is for ordinance section 6657, which is any property in the city, whether public or private, whether as owner, tenant, occupant, or otherwise, shall allow any wrecked, discarded, junked, abandoned, or inoperative, discarded, and or partially dismantled vehicles or property parts of vehicles to remain in such property longer than 5 days. This is specifically for inoperable vehicles on the property that are being fixed or in the process of being removed. Those also include.
Are these items of personal property different than personal property that we've already handled tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I don't want to have them having two different deadlines for the same piece of junk.
Correct.
Okay.
The initial ordinance violation for the truck was for, the initial ordinance violation was for parts. This is specifically for inoperable vehicles.
Okay.
From what I was told and from my understanding, this Nissan truck is inoperable unless he
So
fixed
on this
it.
case, are we
Fixed it.
talking about
That was
one?
taken today.
Correct. This was taken today.
He fixed it.
He fixed it?
Yeah, he said that he backed it up there to clean it out. That's
Okay.
all I know.
Okay.
I haven't been home.
An inoperable vehicle would also include this Jeep, which is why I left this and did not withdraw it. That's fine.
This
Inoperable meaning,
case- So let's be clear what the record is.
yes, sir.
This case is just the Jeep?
Yes, sir. If the truck is fixed,
The truck's fixed.
as told, then the inoperable vehicles, which would be a continued brought on more of the same issue, knowingly brought back more of the same issue, would now include the Jeep then.
All right, so what is it that you think is appropriate for the disposition and cure of this violation?
2 weeks, and then $50 a day. And that is for any and all inoperable vehicles.
This is 078.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
2 weeks. Okay. Scott, you understand that one? That's just as I understand it, what we've established, it's that Jeep out there that's not running, and you got 2 weeks to get that gone.
It should be gone soon.
Okay? Okay, that's it. Cheryl, you clear? Okay. Scott? Okay. Good, because I don't want to, you all seem like nice people and you're trying to get it fixed, so, cool. All right, thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Sir.
Good? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, the next cases are DEL 81 to 86. Let me get there.
Is that citation?
No, that can't be it. Yeah. The code enforcement officer for these next, well, which property is this? This is 83 to 86, okay. Okay, the next on my list here is the property with 3193 Newark Drive, and I'm hearing that Officer Scott is not here yet? Is that correct, City?
He's here. He just went into the back office real quick. Here he's coming right now.
Okay. Here's the last series of cases. Okay, we've got another property which got a few problems here, so I'm going to introduce this. The property address for the next series of cases, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's DEL 21083, 084, 085, and 086. And those cases correspondingly are nuisance and debris, improper parking, inoperable vehicles, and no permit for fence. I'm going to try to start it like we did the last time. Officer Scott, correct?
Yes, sir.
Jeff, is the property owner here?
Yes.
And have you spoken with the property owner about a resolution?
Yes, we spoken with her today.
And you spoke, and has there been some sort of acknowledgement or understanding reached?
She says she's gonna correct the violations, but he translated for me, so, because she don't speak good English.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Reichman, Danny Ron, City Deltona. I went with Officer Scott to the property because we come to find out the property owner is Spanish-speaking only. So I went there to explain the violations and corrective action with a follow-up date. On some of the cases, I believe it was 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. 2 weeks.
So all 4 of them are the same?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. 2 weeks on all the violations.
Okay. All right, let's is it the young lady sitting back there to the left?
Yes, sir.
Is that
Yes.
the property owner?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, could you ask her to come forward? And as this gentleman speaks, I want, if you could translate so she knows what's going on, please. What?
Oh.
Okay. Jeff, as you speak, sir, if you could just, tell her what he's saying, okay?
Sí, yo lo voy a ayudar a traducir.
Sí, gracias.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. I am Officer Jeff Scott, employed by the City of Deltona as a code compliance officer. My credentials are on file with the city. DEL 21083, the city versus Naomi Concha de Flores.
Okay, let's stop because this gentleman can't do everything from memory. So let's just take breaks so you can tell this lady why we're here, what he said.
Ok, el primer caso va a estar hablando de la alberja, perdón, para las cosas que estaban afuera de la casa, que nosotros decimos que se tiene que botar basura o si no ponerlo adentro de la casa.
Sí.
Eso que está explicando en este momento.
Sí.
Da su nombre, que es Naomi Concha de Flores, y la dirección del lugar.
Sí.
Okay.
She speaks no English? She speaks no English?
¿Habla un poco inglés?
Un poquitito.
He says very little.
Okay, let's keep going the way we are.
Okay.
Okay? All right, go ahead. It's going to take a little longer, but I want to make sure she understands what's going on.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, the property address is 3193 Newmark Drive, Deltona, Florida, 32738. You need me to pause? Keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. Parcel ID number is 813073140060. Keep going?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Violation, City of Deltona Ordinance, Section 38-110, subsection B2, which states that accumulation of waste, yard, trash, rubble, and/or debris are declared to be a nuisance and must be abated in their entirety.
La información que está dando es la información de la propiedad suya, el número de parcel y la dirección, y también hablando, diciendo el cado que estamos traduciendo este día para la basura que está fuera de la propiedad.
Can you put the picture up for this case, please?
I don't have I put it on the PDF file by accident, so I was trying to convert them. That's why I was back
Do you have a picture you could show her?
Yes, I do.
So she knows what it is we're fussing at her
Él te
for?
va a enseñar una foto de la violación
Just of
del
this,
cado.
Jeff, of this case, the
Yes.
picture of the
Just the debris.
debris.
Correct. Just
Could you tell her that we're showing her the picture of the problem?
Sí, esta es la foto del problema en la propiedad.
Tell her the poster.
¿Ah?
It's a picture of the poster.
No, it was just the other two. Just those first two. No.
Y también una foto de cuando dejamos papel en la propiedad también. Creo que una de las fotos es
Sí.
eso. Okay, she understood that.
Okay. Keep going, Jeff.
All right. The corrective action, of course, is the dispose of properly or store inside an enclosed building. The car parts on the left side of the property. Statutory requirements for this hearing have been met by the notice of hearing and notice of violation were sent certified mail to the property owner at the address listed with the property appraiser's office and posted on the property.
All right, let's let her hear that.
Se dejó notación de la situación que está esta noche, que se puso papel en la propiedad y eso también se mandó por correo, certified mail, para informar al dueño de la propiedad que sí hay unos casos a ese lugar.
Sí, y explíquele a él lo que yo ya le había dicho anteriormente, de que yo el correo no lo chequeo por la razón de que yo pago todo en mi teléfono porque yo no estoy en casa.
She's saying that she doesn't look for the mailing because she does everything on her phone, but we did post on the property. Pero sí dejamos papel en la propiedad.
Ajá, sí, fue cuando lo del papel que dejó en el garage, fue donde yo, como tenía el sello de aquí del city, por eso yo vine aquí la semana pasada. Si no, tampoco no me hubiera haber dado cuenta.
¿Usted vino aquí la semana pasada?
Sí.
Oh, she said with that, once she got the notice that was left on the house, she did come in here last week.
Ya la otra oficina.
Okay.
A buscar información.
¿Y habló con alguien en la oficina?
Por
Okay.
eso me dieron el número de él.
Oh, and then when she came to City Hall, she was provided a business card for Officer Scott to
Does
call
she
back.
live there? Is this occupied by her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I know that because I was out there.
Okay, there's not a tenant in there.
No, she is occupied. Está diciendo si usted vive en esa casa.
Sí, nada más que estoy nada más el día que descanso, básicamente.
¿Cómo?
Básicamente y nada más estoy ahí el día de mi descanso.
She don't have much time off, and today's her off day, which she's here today.
Okay, all right. Officer Scott, is the property still in non-compliance?
That's correct.
Okay. And you said that you talked with you guys have spoken with her, and it was how many days that was in?
No, estamos,
We spoke with her today.
Para 2 semanas, ¿no es cierto? 2 semanas puede estar todo limpio, todas las cosas. Yes, she understands it was 2 weeks that we did make an agreement while we were on the property, and we pointed out all the violations on there.
So she acknowledges, ask her if she acknowledges that this nuisance issue still is there, and 2 weeks to comply.
Sí, tú entiendes que sí hay una violación de este caso y la ciudad te da 2 semanas para resolver todo el problema ahí.
Sí.
Sí, yes.
Okay. Would you let her know that I'm going to agree with, I'm going to put in a piece of paper what you all have agreed to, which is the property on this case is in violation, 14 days to comply, or $25 a day. Okay, you tell her that?
Lo va a poner todo en papel diciendo que sí, esta noche sí él encontró la propiedad en violación del caso de la ciudad, pero le va a dar al dueño de la propiedad, que es usted, 2 semanas. Y pues después de 2 semanas, y si todavía está el problema, puede comenzar una multa de $50 para este caso por día.
Está bien.
Okay.
And that's just this one case?
Sí, solo para este caso.
So now we're going to go on to the next case.
Vamos al próximo caso ahora.
Sí.
And that's 21084, improper parking. Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Este es para el caso del carro, no más de 2 carros en el patio, como hay 3 ahí.
All right. All right. Sorry about that. I'm Officer Jeff Scott, employed by the City of Deltona as a code compliance officer. My credentials are on file with the city. DEL 21-084. The City of Deltona versus Naomi Concha de Flores. You need me to pause, Danny? Or keep?
Este es el caso, el número del caso y su nombre y de que usted es el dueño de la propiedad.
Sí.
The property address is 3193 Newmark Drive, Deltona, Florida 32738. Parcel ID is 813-073-140060.
Esos son números que el parcel nombre de la propiedad y la dirección.
The violation, City of Deltona Ordinance Section 66 1-18 subsection H, restrictions on trucks and other vehicles, which states a maximum of 2 vehicles may be parked inside or rear yard.
Está explicando el caso que está en evaluación hoy, parqueando más de 2 vehículos en la parte de al lado de la casa o en el patio, que solo se permite 2.
Sí, está bien.
The corrective action is to reduce the number of vehicles in the side or rear yard to a maximum of 2 vehicles. The statutory requirements for the notification of this hearing has been met by the notice of hearing and notice of violation were sent certified mail to the property owner at the address listed with the property appraiser's office and posted on the property. In addition, the notice of hearing was posted at City Hall at least 10 days prior to this hearing.
Que se mandó porque otra vez este mismo notificación para estar aquí esta noche para este caso y también la misma notificación estaba en la casa.
All of the evidence in this case, including the photographs, has been marked as exhibits and submitted to the code enforcement clerk. I certify all photographs to be true and accurate portrayals of what I observed on the day they were taken.
Él está diciendo los detalles de este caso, que él ha tomado fotos y esas fotos también él tiene presente de él.
Está bien.
So,
Is the property still in violation?
yes, the property is still in violation. Would you like to see
What's
the
the
photos?
violation? Did you share with the photo?
We have, yes.
Put it in
he
words.
did.
What?
We have a trailer on the left side rear yard, and we have a Scion sedan and a green Ford truck in the right rear yard.
Okay. Could you tell her what the violation is?
Sí, más de 2 vehículos en al lado de la casa o en el patio, lo mismo que nosotros identificamos cuando estábamos en la propiedad.
Sí, está bien.
What is she going to have to do to bring the property in compliance?
Reduce the amount of vehicles to 2.
Say that again?
Reduce the amount of vehicles to 2 vehicles.
Okay, can you tell her that?
Sí, para correctar esta violación tiene que no más de 2 vehículos no más que se permite. Como hablamos que puede mover uno de los vehículos en el driveway.
Sí, nada más que para mover el vehículo de atrás, el Scion.
Sí.
Acuérdense que es cuando le acaben de poner el motor.
Sí.
She understand?
Yeah, she understands.
Okay. What's the arrangement?
She was given 2 weeks for that as well.
Same
to come into compliance.
Que damos dos semanas para arreglar ese caso. ¿Está bien?
Okay. All right. That's what I'm going to order. I believe she understands what the violation is, sir.
Sí, ¿entiende
Sí.
lo que necesita hacer? Okay, sí.
Okay, so it's going to be the same order. Tell her it's going to be the same order.
Va a ser lo mismo, da 2 semanas para correctar el problema con los parqueos y va a documentar todo diciendo que hoy sí estaba en validación, pero le va a dar 2 semanas para correctar eso.
Está bien.
Okay.
Okay, and now we're going to move on to the next case, which
Okay,
is
vamos al próximo caso.
085 inoperable vehicles.
El próximo es para el vehículo que no tiene tablilla.
Jeff?
Yes, sir. I am Officer Jeff Scott, employed by the City of Deltona as a code and compliance officer. My credentials are on file with the city. DEL 21085, the City of Deltona versus Naomi Concha de Flores. Property address is 3193 Newmark Drive, Deltona, Florida 32738. Parcel ID 813-073-140060.
Esta información es el número del caso, la dirección, su nombre como dueño de la propiedad, la dirección de la propiedad otra vez y el número del parcel. Eso es la información que él dio.
Okay. The City of Deltona, the violation of City of Deltona Ordinance Section 66-56, which states that all abandoned vehicles or vehicles that are inoperable, wrecked, partially dismantled, or otherwise mechanically incapable of being operated in their present condition or without current state license tag, if required, or without a current state license tag, if required, shall be prohibited on any public right-of-way under any circumstances or on private property except within a completely enclosed garage or when such vehicles are permitted principal use or special exception in any zoning classification.
Eso es mucha información, pero lo que está explicando que el CADO, como el CADO y, por ejemplo, todo vehículo que está en la propiedad, aunque y si está en el garaje es diferente, pero si está fuera en la propiedad tiene que tener la tablilla, current tag, y también tiene que manejar, el carro que tiene que trabajar. En esta situación es el carro que no tiene tablilla.
Está bien.
Can you show her the photos? Is the property still in violation?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me exactly why the property is in violation?
The Scion sedan don't have a tag on it.
Okay.
It needs to have a
Tell her
current
that.
tag.
El carro que es el Scion, right, no tiene tablilla.
Está bien.
And same arrangement, 14 days?
Correct.
Okay, can you tell her that this is going to be the same as last time?
Va a ser exacto lo mismo, 2 semanas para correctar esto. Y va a documentar todo en el papel diciendo que sí, este día estaba en evaluación del CADO, pero usted va a correctar esto en 14 días. Y si... ¿Es 25? 25. Y si no está correctado en 2 semanas, puede comenzar una multa de $25 por día.
Está bien.
¿Ok?
Last case. Tell her finally.
Uno más.
I'm Officer Jeff Scott, employed by the City of Deltona as Code Compliance Officer. My credentials are on file with the city. Case number DEL 21086, City of Deltona versus Naomi Concha de Flores. Property address is 3193 Newmark Drive, Deltona, Florida 32738. Parcel ID is 81307314060.
Sí, lo que dio información otra vez, el número del caso, la dirección de la propiedad, su nombre y el número del parcel de la propiedad.
Jeff, this is about a case where she's got a fence and she doesn't have a permit?
Correct.
Can you tell her that?
Este caso es de la verja que usted puso sin permiso.
Can you show her the photo?
Yes,
Le vamos a enseñar la foto para que vea.
Can you show her this?
Is it still in violation?
Yes, as of today, yes.
You tell her that?
Sí, él dice que hoy cuando pasamos la propiedad todavía está en violación.
This is the important part.
Yes, sir.
What does she need to do to come in compliance?
She either take the fence down or get a permit.
Ahora, para correctar esta violación de la ciudad de Deltona, sacar la verja o si no, sacan permiso para la verja.
Está bien.
Okay. Same arrangement?
Yes, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Le va a dar 2 semanas para conseguir el permiso o si no, sacar la verja.
Está bien.
Okay. Good. So if you could tell her that we've had 4 different cases tonight.
Usted ha tenido 4 casos esta noche.
Each one is resolved the same way.
Todo va a ser la misma resulta, exacto, con el tiempo y si no está correctado, la multa.
And there's a $25 fine separate for each one.
Y los $25 es cada caso. Entonces,
Okay.
okay.
Tell her thank you very much for
Y
being here.
muchas gracias por venir esta noche.
Sí, gracias.
Good luck.
Buena suerte.
Gracias.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I have on my schedule. Is there anyone? Oh, I'm sorry, one more. Okay, it was on the next page, sorry. Okay, 070, hang on a second.
Mr. Reichman.
Hang on just a second.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the property at 179 Citation Avenue, owned by Vivian and Rafael Colon, or Colon, I apologize if I mispronounce it. The cases are 21070, 21071, 072, and 073. We've got no permit for a shed, outdoor storage, nuisance and debris, and improper parking. This is Officer San Miguel. Did I get all that right?
Yes, sir. San Miguel.
Okay. And do we have any kind of arrangement, understanding with the property owner, or are we going to do these case by case?
Unfortunately, these will be case by case.
Sounds fine. All right, let's get started with 070, and this is no permit for a shed or other structures.
Yes, sir. For the record, my name is Myron San Miguel. I'm employed by the City of Deltona as an enforcement officer. This will be case number DEL 21-070, City of Deltona versus Colon, Vivian, and Raphael. Property address of 179 Citation Ave, Deltona, Florida 32738. You're charged in violation of City of Deltona Ordinance Section 18-3, adopting the latest edition of the Florida Building Code, which states that any owner, authorized agent, who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure, or to erect, install, enlarge, alter, repair, remove, convert, or replace any electrical, gas, mechanical, or plumbing system, the installation of which is regulated by this code, or to cause any such work to be done, shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. The statutory requirements for notification of this hearing have been met. The notice of hearing and notice of code violations were sent certified mail to the property owner at the address listed with the property appraiser's records. In addition, both notices were posted at City Hall at least 10 days prior to this hearing. All of the evidence in this case, including the photographs, have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the code board clerk. I certify any and all photographs to be true and accurate portrayals of what I observed on the day that they were taken. This case initially was grouped with many other cases on the home. It was initially established in March 2nd. It was noticed that there were several abnormal structures on the property viewable from public view from the street. Give me 1 second, if you would, sir, to be able to pull up some of these photos. These photos that I'm going to present to you today are taken today and only from today.
So this first case is about the no permit for the shed and other structures. So let's be very specific. We're talking about the shed.
Yes, sir.
What is meant by other structures?
So other structures would be any awnings, anything erected or built on the property that was not permitted. Anything that has a roof, that would be considered a structure. Anything such as, forgive me, the awning here.
Okay, let's make a list, because I want to make it clear.
Yes, sir.
For the record.
For the record.
First, I want to see the picture of the shed.
There are multiple sheds on property. From what I counted today, there are 3.
3 sheds.
So there's one shed here in the middle of the property.
And they all need a permit?
Yes, sir. Nothing on the property is permitted. There's not a permit for anything on property that's been built.
Okay, so there's 3 sheds. That's part of the jurisdiction of this case.
Yes, sir.
What are the other structures?
The other structure would be this. It looks like a makeshift awning with a metal roof that was installed. Lean-to attached to the home.
Okay.
The other structures, this is a panoramic view of when you walk in, you can see with his consent and full permission to be in the backyard with him of the violations. The awnings, there's multiple. There's one here on the left-hand side of the home. There's one on the back side of the house. And the first one that I showed you is on the right-hand side of the house.
All right. Is that it? There's more?
There's more, sir.
Keep going.
This item here, because it's considered with a concrete pad a permanent structure, this would have to be permitted. If this was PVC, if this was something that is not a permanent structure in the backyard, it would not need to have a permit, but given the size of this and the way it's constructed, it would need a permit required.
Okay. Is that it?
No, sir. This runs along the back side of the fence from what I could tell because of the debris and outdoor storage on the home. These structures run along the entire back side of the fence, 4x4s to hold up the roof, metal roofing, and they're connected to the fence in the back somehow. Unfortunately, I'm unable to see. It goes all the way from the left side again of the back of the property to the right side of the back of the property. This is another view of it. This right here, and I'll show you with the cursor, this is a fourth, I believe, fourth lean-to that's been attached to the property. You can see a better picture here of the roofing that was kind of placed on it. It does not match the roofing here. and I'm not quite sure if this is a 4x4 running all the way up through or not. Either way, all of these that were constructed, would need a permit. This item here is the underneath of the inside. It's a completely different color wood. It's just more evidence to show that there was difference in time. It's not the same color. It's treated differently.
These are all photos from today?
These are all photos from today, yes, sir.
Okay, anything more?
None concerning this specific case.
Okay.
As far as permits go.
So what would compliance be?
Compliance would be file a permit with the city and follow whatever the permitting department requires, which oftentimes requires engineer drawings, exactly where the structure is placed and put on a survey of the property, and different requirements involving encroachment on right-of-ways and easements. They are the department that we refer them to due to the specifics and sometimes changing requirements of the state in regards to that. The only two options he has is tear everything down or get it permitted.
All right. How long do you think it would take to get the permit for these?
Given the length of time since the case has been opened since March, 3 months ago, now almost coming into four.
Has there been any progress with compliance in this case?
In regards to permitting, there has not been anything attempted. There's nothing been established that I know of, and since I checked today, there's not been anything.
What is the city's
applied
request for compliance?
The city's request for compliance is 30 days maximum, or $100 a day.
Is there someone here representing the property owner?
There is. Rafael Colon came in a little bit late, and I would like the opportunity for him to be sworn in and speak at this time.
Mr. Colon, could you come forward to the podium, please, and I'm going to swear you in. You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank God.
Okay. Could you give me your full name and your address, please?
Yeah, my name is Rafael Colon Garcia. My address is 179 Citation Avenue.
You speak English, sir?
Excuse me?
You speak English?
Yes.
Okay, good. We've just had a couple of people that don't speak English tonight, so just wanted to make sure, that's all. You've heard the city.
Yes, I
You've
heard.
seen the photos. What do you have to say?
I've been working with him, and I told him that I'm a 69 years old, I'm a Vietnam vet, and I treat him like a real person, and he's a real good gentleman. And on the way, everything happened for a reason. So I might got carried away, but most of the things, they was there when we bought the house. I just had to deal with it. And I told him I got a lawyer, and I haven't been able to send, I ain't too good. I could do almost anything, but I ain't too good with computers, so I have sent them pictures to the lawyers with the paperwork. They haven't been able to read the paperwork, so they haven't appointed me a lawyer yet. So as soon as they appoint me a lawyer, I will be represented by a lawyer over here, and I will comply with whatever it needs to be addressed on the issues, okay?
So the city is saying that this should, as to these sheds and these lean-tos and these awnings, they either need to be permitted or taken down, sir.
No, correct.
In 30 days.
Well, could you give me a little time so I could give this paperwork to the lawyer so they could address?
So how much time would you like?
Maybe a couple months. Because, I mean, there's so many issues that I got to deal with one at a time.
This has been going on since March now.
But I'm only one person, and there's too many issues. The things that need permit, the cleaning, the fence, a lot of different things.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do.
I even applied for a permit for a bathroom toilet, that I'm building. And I haven't been able to finish that up because of the other thing.
Well, this case is just about the sheds and the awnings and the lean-tos. You understand? That's all we're talking about on this case, okay?
Which one?
This case is just dealing with the sheds.
Okay.
And the awnings and the lean-tos. That's all that I'm talking about right now.
We're going to deal with one at a time, is it?
Right.
Okay.
I apologize. I just reviewed my notes and looking at the photos. There is one other item that does need to be permitted. Per our building official, anything for a fence that gets replaced more than 2 panels
So there's a fence also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You can tell the difference here. He was replacing and fixing some of the old
Okay.
fence, but because
All
he's
right,
putting
I get
new
it.
panels.
So this includes the fence as well, Mr. Colon?
Yeah, too many projects at the same time. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. If we take one at a time, I'd be glad to
And
come
so
to
this one's
compliance.
just the awnings, the sheds, the lean-tos, and the fence. Now, they've asked for 35 days. You said, could you get 2 months? I'm going to give you 45 days to get these items fixed, meaning permitted or removed. 45 days, okay?
Well,
45 days.
which one you want me to address at the first?
I don't care which one you address first. I just want all of them. What my order will say is all of them have to be either
Okay.
permitted or removed within 45
Okay.
days, okay?
Look, do the things and get the permits. That what you're talking about?
I'm talking about, this gentleman is going to explain to you with photos of exactly what needs to be permitted or removed within
Okay.
45 days. This gentleman's going to show you the photos. He's going to explain it to you, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I get with him.
And or it's going to be a $50 per day fine, and I don't want you to have to pay that. You don't want to have to pay it.
No, definitely not.
Okay, the next case, you can go ahead and sit down now, Mr. Colon, because now we're going to move on to the next case.
Okay.
This one has to do with outdoor storage. That's the next case, okay?
You with me?
It'll still be with you,
Oh,
but it's a different code violation.
okay.
Okay, this is 21071.
You can have a seat right there. if you'd
So
like,
we're
sir.
moving on to the next matter.
You can have a seat right there if you'd like, sir, or continue stand, whichever you'd like to do. Mr. Reichman, can you just confirm which DEL case we are looking at here?
071, outdoor storage.
Understood. So I have 2 cases that will have the same request from the city, so I would like to present both of them at the same time.
And what are those cases?
Those are going to be DEL 21-071, and the second one is DEL 21-072. Again, for the record, my name is Myron San Miguel, Enforcement Services Officer with the City of Deltona. This is going to be in reference to address 179 Citation Ave, Deltona, Florida, 32738. DEL 21-071 is in reference to storage of building materials, commercial, and industrial equipment, Section Ordinance 38-114, stating that the storage of building materials, commercial and industrial equipment, materials, objects, or waste relating to commercial or industrial uses, or any equipment, materials, or objects that are not incidental to a residential use shall be prohibited on your property at 179 Citation Ave. The second violation and the second case that is going to be partnered with this is DEL 21-072, which is in violation of Section 38-110, Section B, subsection 2, which states that the accumulation of waste, yard trash, rubble, and/or debris are declared to be a nuisance and must be abated in their entirety on your property at 179 Citation Ave. These 2 cases are partnered together due to the amount of trash and debris and the variance of such said items on the property. And
So it's the same underlying facts, just different code violations.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The
Could you-
differences in the code violations is
Can you show the
one more
gentleman the
specific.
photos of what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
And tell him, sir, these are the photos of what they're saying are code violations on your property. And these are 2 different cases, 2 different code violations, Mr. Colon. Outdoor storage, you got a lot of stuff, come on up there.
Yep.
And you got a lot of debris out there to the extent that it's becoming a nuisance.
I will be glad to clean around. About the equipment, I got a lot of lawnmowers and a lot of different generators,
Yeah, that's what the photos show. I mean, it's got a lot of
Exactly.
stuff out there.
So, all I could do is put them, on a secure area, cover them up, and then clean the rest of the area.
Well, let's listen. What does this gentleman have to do to bring these 2 violations into compliance?
He needs to abate the property in its entirety, sir.
Okay, you need to say that slower, and you need to be very clear about, for Mr. Colon, what he needs to do. 'Cause
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Real slow.
Mr. Colon, if you look to the image on this screen, as we've discussed prior, the only thing that we haven't discussed is the amount of time the city's going to require for you to come into compliance. This is an aerial photo of his property and taken from public record, from property appraisers. All of the outdoor storage, debris, trash, anything basically that is not designed to be outside should not be outside.
Okay.
Refrigerators, microwaves, scrap metal, PVC piping, anything that you have that's stored outside that isn't in a permitted structure should be removed or placed in an enclosed garage.
My only question is, could I get the 45 days to deal with the first issue before I start with the second issue?
Unfortunately, at this time, sir, the city would not agree with that assessment due to the length of time that we've already had the cases open at.
How much is the city?
There's so many issues. I'm only one person.
Okay, hang on a second, sir. I need to talk with the city first, and then I'll come to you, I promise. How much is the city asking for?
For these two cases, sir, we're going to ask 30 days
Okay,
or $100 a day.
okay. All right, Mr. Colon, let's be real clear about this. We've finished one case already. You got a bunch of sheds and awnings, and we've already finished this one. You got 45 days to get those permitted or get them taken down. Now we're dealing with a new case, and it's all that stuff in the backyard.
Okay.
And to come into compliance, so you don't get fined, you got to get it all removed somehow.
I understand that.
So how much time do you think you need?
If I deal with the first issue, then I should be able to work with the second issue, with all the second issues, you know? I mean, if you consider that I'm 67 years old, I try to be on compliant, so I'm willing to do my best every time I do anything. But we got to be realistic, you know, I need a little time.
Let me ask you,
Finish one thing before I start the other.
I got it. So we got any health issues out here because of the debris?
Yes, sir. I removed, with the willing support of the homeowner, a tortoise, an African tortoise from the property that was living there in the midst of all of this debris. It was about the size of a wheelbarrow on a completely separate case. There's been multiple complaints of smell, odor, rats, infestations of things from other neighbors in the local area. And it's a continued challenge, unfortunately, that has yet to be addressed until today.
Okay. All right, here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Colon. I'm going to find that the property on these two cases, which are the same thing, okay, it's all the junk, that is still out there. I mean, it's clearly still out there. It's still in violation. And I'm going to find that you need 30 days to get rid of that, or a fine of $50 per day. Let me tell you why I'm doing that.
Could you repeat that?
I'm going to give you 30 days to get rid of all that stuff. Let me tell you why I'm doing that, because I know you don't like that. But that stuff's been out there for a long time, because the city's been trying to work with you since March. And it looks
And I've been working with it. I clean a lot.
There's a lot of stuff there still. Those are photos taken today. That's a lot of stuff. So my suggestion, you do what you want to do, but I'd start first on clearing that stuff out of your yard, okay? And let your lawyer or your architect work on the permits for the other case. But you need to start working on that stuff. Okay? All right. So we got one more case, and that's improper parking. Just one more case, and then you can get out of here, okay?
Okay.
Sir, this is not for improper parking. This is for section 66-18 for case number DEL 21-073.
Says improper parking on mine. (6618A), improper parking. Am I reading that wrong?
6618, section A, no vehicle greater than 10,000 pounds, manufacturer's gross vehicle weight or designed to carry 16 or more passengers? Is that the one that you have?
It could be the same case. I'm just telling you what the agenda says.
Oh, on the agenda. Understood. This is going to be DEL 21073, case regarding section 6618, section A, which states that no vehicles greater than 10,000 pounds, manufacturer's gross vehicle weight, or designed to carry 16 or more passengers or requiring a commercial driver's license, CDL, of any endorsement to operate shall be parked or stored in any residential or agricultural zoning district except in agricultural areas on lots of 5 acres or more. This case is very specific in regarding the commonly known as box trucks that would require such as far as the GVW, the gross vehicle weight. And I will present those photos now on the screen for you.
So this case is about that box truck that I'm seeing the photos that are behind the fence.
There are a few box trucks, or there are two. There's the white one that is seen here in this photo that you can easily see behind the fence.
Right.
Also seen on this picture on the left. And there is also another one inside this unpermitted structure from what appears to be an old yellowish Penske truck.
Okay. Still out there?
Yes, sir. These photos were all taken today.
All right. What's the city's position about trying to get rid of those things?
The only option is to remove them from the property.
Okay. And how much
Our position
time?
for it is 7 days. We feel a week would be adequate to have them towed off the property, again, or $100 a day, given the length of time that this has been open.
All right, Mr. Colon, this case is just about those 3 big box trucks you have on there.
Say that again.
This case that we're talking about right now is just those 3 big box trucks.
It's only 2 box trucks.
There's 2. There's 2, sir.
2?
There's 2. There's the yellow one under the awning and the white one on the side closest to the
Okay,
fence.
I misunderstood.
I apologize.
You're right, thank you. 2. How long do you think you're going to need to get rid of those?
Like I say, I got to deal with the 45-day issue. Then you told me to still clean the debris. So until I clean the debris, I cannot take the vehicles out because you could see the mess
I hear you.
is over there.
Okay. So here,
Excuse me, Mr. Reichman,
Yeah.
if I may interrupt. The city will be willing to assist Mr. what's his name?
Colon.
Mr. Cologne by providing dumpsters if he's willing to.
Providing what?
Dumpsters to help him expedite things as far as
Okay.
cleaning the
Did you
backyard.
hear that?
Say that again.
The gentleman for the city, right there, graciously said the city is going to help by providing some dumpsters.
Oh, I got trailers. I could use my trailers and save that money.
Well, all I'm telling you is make sure you get with these 2 guys, because if someone offers you something, generally speaking,
And I will
you don't
clean the
turn it
debris
down.
so I could move them vehicles out.
Get with these 2 guys right here.
Okay,
to
okay.
coordinate the assistance from the city of providing some storage for you to remove the stuff.
Oh,
Okay?
it's going to be free?
Well, they're going to provide you some dumpsters for you to put it in.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's going to be free or it's going to cost me $300 a dumpster?
No, the city will be willing to take care of that and also include it. If you are willing to sign over the vehicles that's in the back, the city will also have them towed as well out for the property.
Did you understand what he said?
No. Could I talk to him on private?
You can, but you can, but let me tell you.
Okay.
What they're offering is that they'll go ahead and provide the dumpsters for no charge.
Okay.
And
the
also remove the
and the 2
vehicles.
box trucks, they'll remove them if you go ahead and sign over the titles to them, and they'll get rid of them.
Okay.
But that's up to you. That's not going to be in my order.
I understand.
Okay? What I'm going to order with regard to these 2 box trucks, Mr. Colon, is that they're still out there and it's a code violation.
Definitely. I'm willing to work with you guys.
I'm going to give you 14 days. 14 days to get rid of them.
Okay.
So how you get rid of them, I don't care.
Okay.
They're offering you a solution.
Okay.
You should talk with them.
Okay.
You got.
I will.
We've
I
had,
definitely will.
so it's in violation. 14 days to comply, or $50 per day. Now, we've had a bunch of different cases. There's 4 of them.
Yes,
And if you leave here tonight and don't do anything, there's going to be a lot of fines starting pretty soon.
Definitely.
Okay, so I need for you to work real carefully with this gentleman right here to make sure that you don't drop the ball.
I've been doing that.
Okay, okay. You'll get copies of my orders in the mail, all right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck. I hope you can get it all done.
God bless you.
Do we have any other, that's it?
Just go ahead and, Mr. Rafa, if you want, just go ahead, wait over there. I'll see you in the back because there's still a couple more cases to be presented.
Is someone here? Sir, are you here for a case tonight?
I'm just here to hear about one of the cases, which was 21065.
That's a Massey case. Public nuisance, fire damage?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I think we're at the point where we can just go down the agenda now, folks. We don't have any more people here on any cases? Okay, this gentleman's been waiting a long time, so I'm going to have that case next, and that's case number 21065. It's a Massey case.
Yes, sir. Give me, if I could just have 1 second to pull that
This gentleman
up.
can go home and watch the Olympics. DEL 21065177 177 Rosedale Drive, property owner 20171 IH Borrower LP, public nuisance fire. This is a Massey case. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Again, my name is Myron San Miguel for the record. I am a code enforcement officer with the City of Deltona. This is case number DEL 21-065, a Massey case. This case is from 177 Rosedale Drive. It is a rental property. This case was presented to you last month, sir, in regards to the house fire where half of the property was burnt down. Since that time, this case was given 10 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $250 per day on the 26th of May 2021. Since then, they have not come into compliance. 10 days after, from that point to today, is 17 days of in violation at $250 a day for a total fine of $4,250. Based on the testimony and evidence submitted, I'm requesting that the fine still continue until this property is in compliance. For the record, I would like to state what has been done since then in order for the city to obtain cooperation and conversation with the rental property. I've sent them various emails. We have sent them the magistrate order stating that it would be $250 a day after the 10-day order. I have the property management team from Invitation Homes, which is the rental company that has this. I've been trying to reach and have left numerous voicemails at the local office in Winter Park area, I believe. And we have not heard anything back. So the city has started this process with Supervisor Richard Lovett in beginning the unfortunately extenuating process of demolishing the home.
Nuisance abatement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We did the abatement of boarding. We did make sure that it was safe because it did look like it was broken into. And from my understanding, Mr. Lovett, a demolition process to demolish a home.
Well, that's not within my jurisdiction this evening.
No, I understand. I just wanted it on the
I
record
appreciate
so
it,
that
because we did
people
have some
understand what we're
concerns
doing.
about it the last hearing. So
Yes,
I'm going to be entering an order finding the property remains in violation, notwithstanding the prior order of the special magistrate in the city of Deltona. It's been a total of 17 days, at $250 per day, for a total fine of $4,250, which will continue on a per diem basis.
Understood.
Okay, very good. Sir, do you understand what we're doing here?
I understand, I just wonder what's going on, because it's bringing property value down.
Okay, if you have any more questions, I think you understand we're moving forward. If you have any more questions about this other process that the gentleman discussed, you feel free to talk to him, okay? Because we're doing everything we can within the limits of the law. Okay. All right, I think that's it. So we're going to go back to the beginning now, and I'm going to run through the rest of the agenda. We're going to start with old business 9A, DEL 20074 Massey. This is 2271 Weatherford Drive. This is, hang on just a second, sorry. This has to do with no permit for a porch.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. This is in reference to DEL 20-074 2271 Weatherford Drive. The owner is Emerson Family Revoc Trust. Nobody's here tonight to represent the property. My name is Marion Laracy for the City of Deltona, Enforcement Officer. It was entered into evidence, exhibits proving proper service, and a copy of the original magistrate order along with photographs. This case was heard January 27, 21. An order was given 30 days to come into compliance with a fine of $25 per day until the property comes into compliance. The property was in violation February 27th to today. On March 24th, an order of continuance was given for 30 days. So the property is now in violation for 87 days.
How many?
87.
Still in violation?
Correct. This case was a little complicated, sir. This actually began back in August because of the porch being in violation because it hasn't been permitted. There's multiple situations. We have a couple of cases, including the Massey, and then I have my new one. I don't know if, can we just combine those two tonight?
Let's just deal with the Massey, and then
Okay.
we'll go to the other two cases, which I did notice, Officer, are near the end of the agenda at 20088 and 089, correct? Those are the only two cases I see that are at the same address.
Yes.
Those are new cases.
Yes.
Let's just deal with the Massey first. You said that notwithstanding my prior order, it remains in violation?
Correct.
How many days since the deadline in that order for this property to come into compliance?
87.
Okay. What was the per diem fine?
$25 a day. And it's a total of $2,125.
And that continues on because it's still in violation?
Correct.
Have you had any communications with the property owner regarding this violation and the fact that the fine is running?
Yes.
What's the gist of those?
That kind of goes along with the other case. There's some other issues. The porch is in the setback area, so it actually she has to either remove it or get a variance. We have building officials here that can explain that a little bit more. So
Don't need to.
unfortunately, a permit will not be issued for the porch in the entirety. If she
She'd have to tear some of it down.
Unless, yeah, if she
And that's part
decides
of
to
the
keep.
compliance, and she hasn't done it.
Right,
Okay.
right. That all
We're
just,
not going to relitigate exactly why the prior order was entered. I just
Right.
need to know whether it's been complied with or not.
it's not.
Okay. Anything further?
No.
Okay, I'm going to find that the property remains in violation for a total of 87 days since the deadline in the prior order at $25 per day for a total of $21.25, total fine that will continue on a per diem basis thereafter. So what we're going to do next, since you're already standing up, we're going to deal with the rest of the cases on this property. So we're going to jump to the very end of this agenda, which is DEL 20088 and DEL 20089.
Mr. Reichman. Richard Lovett, I'm sorry. On your prior order, I would kindly ask that we rescind that order as of right now.
Which one are we talking about?
The Massey case. We would like to rescind it for 30 days as per a conversation that myself and Mr. Paradise had with her about the extensive amount of work that needs to be done. Because some of that stuff that was built and that's hanging over the side, not only is it in the setbacks, it's also been built into the right-of-way, so they're having to restore the whole right-of-way and everything. So what we'd like to do is to give them 30 days, and this was a conversation we had with that, and then if they do not comply within those 30 days, that we make all fines retroactive back.
Okay. Let me see if I understand this now. What the city's request is that you delay the imposition of the fines for 30 days.
Yes,
But if
Your
they
Honor.
don't comply, then the fines will run as I previously ordered. So
Yes,
you're
sir.
gonna- So, okay.
Special Magistrate Reichman, Ron
Yes.
Paradise, just to kind of provide a little bit of background, it's kind of a complicated case. It involves three elements, one of which involves an abatement as per Chapter 38, which will be served to the property owner with regard to the removal of improvements within the city right-of-way. There's the work on the porch and so forth along the side street yard that does not comply with the setback. And then finally, there is all that improvement that's done without the benefit of building permit or permits.
So if there's compliance within 30 days, there's no fine. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, 30 days, and then if they do not comply by that date, then we make all fines retroactive back. And this is our last standing with them to give them one last chance to comply with the owner. Mr. Reichman, just to let you know, when they came in to get the permit, their survey showed a lot of other issues, which opened up a lot of other things that we've had to address.
Okay, here's what I'm going to order.
That's why the extra time is.
All right, that's fine, I get it. So what we're going to do, the property remains in violation. The fine would be 87 days at $25 per day for a total fine of $21.25. The fine, this amount will be abated if the property comes into compliance in 30 days. And if that's the case, then there won't be a fine at all. On the other hand, if there is not compliance within 30 days, then the fine will run, it'll be that amount, $21.25, plus whatever the additional $25 per day, right? Correct. Okay. All right. That's that case. Now, do you want to go ahead and do the others, as long as we're talking about this very difficult property?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
For the record,
Two
yes.
cases, DEL 20088 and 20089. These are both properties, both cases dealing with 227 Weatherford Drive, property owner Emerson Family Revocable Trust.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll start with the 088.
My name is Marion Laracy. I'm employed with the City of Deltona as enforcement officer. This case is in reference to DEL 21-088, City of Deltona versus Emerson Family Revoc Trust. The property address is 2271 Weatherford Drive in Deltona. The parcel ID is 813-041-060-010. This is in violation of the City of Deltona Ordinance Section 110-101B, which states that the zoning regulations are designed to be lessen congestion in streets to secure safety from fire, panic, and other dangers, to promote public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, to retain productive agricultural areas, to facilitate the provisions of essential governmental services such as transportation, water, sewage disposal, schools, and parks. The violation of City Ordinance Section 110-801, which states that every part of the yard shall be open and unobstructed by the ground up except
Officer, you
or
don't need to
otherwise
read the
permitted.
code. We don't have them here tonight. I just need to know
Okay.
what they've done to violate it, so that's on the record, please.
Basically, multiple structures built in a setback area.
Okay.
Setback
We're
area
talking
is
about
15
case
feet.
20088.
Yes, sir.
Can you identify and if you have photos, which structures that we're talking about?
There's a couple of concrete slabs. There is a porch, covered porch that goes along the side of the house to the back of the house. There's a railroad ties and a canopy cover that goes in the front of the house. It's all in the setback area of 15
These are all,
feet.
photos of these are all in the file?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll bring them up.
Obviously, from what I've heard tonight, the property owner is aware of all this and is trying to come into compliance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But it's still in non-compliance?
Correct.
Okay. What is the city's position about a reasonable period of time to get compliance?
We've spoken to the property owner, and we've given them 30 days to comply.
And what have they said?
They agreed. They've already started working.
And compliance is permit or remove?
Removing.
Just removing, not to get a permit?
Correct.
Why can't they get a permit?
They were offered the opportunity to get a variance, but I guess they just decided to go ahead and remove the structures.
Oh, so they're starting the process of removing it all?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the city asking for as far as a fine?
$25 a day.
Okay, $25 per day. Okay, I'm going to enter an order that the property remains in violation, 30 days to comply, or a fine of $25 per day. Okay. Next, DEL 20089, 2271 Weatherford Drive. This has to do with no permit for structures, which sounds awfully similar to what we just talked about.
Actually, 21089 is the structures that are in the right-of-way. the fence.
Different structures.
Well, they're all, yes, yes.
These are structures that are not the
There's a
subject of 2008.
Correct, it's a fence. They've built up the right-of-way. There's shrubs and trees, part of the railroad ties.
And is basically the same thing, 30 days to comply?
Yes,
And they know they've got to take them out?
correct.
Mr. Reichman, Richard Levin on that one. They're being given the option of taking it out, or the city's going to abate it and turn the right-of-way and redo the right-of-way.
Okay. But the bottom line is that the property remains in non-compliance of this code, and the city feels that it can be complied within 30 days.
Yes.
Or a fine of $25 per day.
Yes, sir.
So ordered. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go back to the beginning. Almost the beginning. The next case on the agenda was DEL 21004. It's a Massey case, 1870 Providence Boulevard. I've got this as a case with Officer Lovett. You do not look like Officer Lovett.
No, it's me. Bismarck? Yes, I'm not an Officer Lovett. Maybe the same shirt.
This is a Massey case. Please proceed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Bismarck. I apologize.
I'm sorry, 9B.
Yes, you're
Okay.
correct. I missed that one. I completely looked past it. My name is Richard Lovett. I'm employed by the City of Deltona as a code compliance officer, and my credentials are on file with the city. This is case number DEL 21-004, City of Deltona versus Gabrielle and Yocasta Fernandez. Property address is 1870 Providence Boulevard, Suites D to H. Mr. Reichman, they have applied for the permit. The permit is almost ready to be issued. So I think in a couple more days, they can get that permit. So.
That's going to depend on fire, I believe. We're still waiting on a fire review on that.
Okay. So I'd like to give them some more time to finish the review on it.
You want to continue it to the next? You want to just
Continue it to the next one.
Continue to the next meeting. So ordered. All right. All right, now.
Sorry about that.
All right, DEL 21061. This is 1661 Bismarck Drive. This is a Massey case for improper parking.
Thank you, sir. This is in reference to DEL 21-061, 1661 Bismarck Drive. The owner is Angel Manuel Zayas. My name is Marianne Laracy with the City of Deltona Enforcement Officer. It was entered into evidence, exhibits proving proper service, and a copy of the original magistrate order along with photographs. This case was heard on May 26, 2021, with an order given 10 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day until the property comes into compliance. The property was in violation from 6/1 to 6/23. He is now in compliance today, so I would just ask for no fines on this property since he is in compliance.
No fine?
Correct. Waive fines.
Well, that's very generous. So ordered.
Thank you.
All right, if I've got my check marks correct, we're done. Am I missing anything?
No, sir.
Hallelujah. All right, folks, thank you very much. We are done. Enjoy your evenings.
Thank you, sir.
There you are. Did I miss anything before anybody leaves? I think I got everything.
Richard.